evening, and welcome to the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Do you have a Halloween singer? Michael Kiske, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Pretty crazy weather today. It's like you can't decide if it's summer or not. So it like makes an old man tired.
You guys have a new album coming out. Giants and Monsters is awesome. Um, and you've been singing back with them for a while now, which is pretty awesome also.
Yeah, 8 years now. It's insane.
It goes fast, huh?
Yeah, but we have been stolen three with the pandemic and all. That's why it doesn't really seem like it. So it's like it feels like 5 years. You know.
The fact that just all of you guys sing, and there's so many singers, to me is fantastic. And
Yeah,
I
for
see
me,
so many advantages to it too.
absolutely. It only has advantages. I mean, when this idea came up in the beginning, in the very early stages, I thought it was weird. But as soon as I got into the idea, I thought it was cool. And now living it like on every tour and every record, it's amazing because it's like you share, you share the work. I don't have to constantly sing live, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If you
Well,
get sick, you have somebody to help cover you. You don't have
exactly.
to. You save your voice because you're not blowing it out for every single song being the
Yeah, and
main
you
thing.
and it's also more interesting to the people who come to the concerts, you know. It's just a bigger show. The bigger party is always the better party. And we
I
can
mean,
play anything if we like with the original singers right from the start, you know?
that'd be amazing. That'd be like having like Deep Purple mock every version or something. Like I don't think people understand how cool it is and how rare it is that you guys are all together. It's like bands when their favorite bands break up and they get new singers. It's almost like your parents break up and they get a new cool
I know.
stepdad. This is like this is like mom and dad got divorced, but they all got back together again, and now they're boyfriends and everybody's all friends. They're all
Yeah,
hanging
I
out.
know.
It's like a
It's
cool
very
party.
different. I say the same thing like all the time. So usually you have a fight and then someone leaves the band and then everybody talks bullshit about each other and you know this sort of crap. And we don't have that at all. You know, we just do it all together, which is definitely different.
Well, I think the whole band. One of my things I enjoy with the band is the career's always been different. Besides the singers, you guys have never followed a true path of replicating any album.
That's
Sometimes
true.
you have fun with the titles. Like in the market, as far as like how to promote you guys, the marketers was going crazy because you never stayed to a certain sound. Took a lot of left turns too. Had some fun with
Oh yeah.
it. So I mean, it's like you're metalhead, you're all serious, but then you guys do a couple of the fun albums, and people are like, wait, what? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you guys have been so diverse, and to
Yeah, and
still be
they
around.
continued doing that. They continued doing that even with in the Andy years, you know, with doing like a plain acoustic record. Is the usual path that bands or artists go is copying whatever was the most successful, you know, and trying to do that for as long as it sells.
Yeah.
But we never did that. We always allowed ourselves to be creative and to try to excite ourselves, you know, because that's the best way. That's how you make honest music. The other thing is business.
Well, the music business, writing this the new album with three singers, obviously it's awesome, but probably some challenges, or is there just offer too many solutions, too many choices with writing the songs? Because you're like, oh, my voice is this, his voice does this. Do we layer it? Do we do this? Do you guys just kind of put out everything and kind of just see what it hits?
Actually, quite easy. Um, People always ask if it is difficult to figure it out, but it isn't because I mean, the three guys who sing, Kai wasn't even intended to sing in the beginning. He just wanted to sing, so it kind of got to that point that he's now represented in. I mean, we had the plan to have him live, you know, doing the medley,
Yeah.
but on the record, it was not the plan in the beginning. But it's cool, you know, adds this extra flavor. But it is easy because all the three voices are very different. So
Mhm.
you kind of hear right away, oh, that sounds like Andy, or that sounds like Michael, or that's a part that Kai could do. And usually the songwriter knows and says right away, I wrote this for you both, or I want Michael to sing it. Or very often Andy sings his songs because he writes in a particular way that suits his
Right.
voice.
Well, yeah, yeah. What I meant also like just like being like a guitar player, you're like, oh man, which guitar to use? Because you have three different singers. I don't know which one I like. Like a hard, like it's like a good choice, a good hard choice. You know what I
It's
mean?
very
That's the
rare.
problem.
It's very rare that that it is open and not pre-decided who is supposed to sing it. Sometimes we check it out,
Hmm.
or sometimes it happens that sometimes it was supposed to be sung by one person, and then like I do it, and you should give it a try, or the other way around, because you just don't feel like it was a good day. It doesn't necessarily have to be the end of it. Might come another day where you have a great take and you feel good about it, but we often play balls to each other, kick the ball to the other one, give it a try. There's just
That sounds so
there's no
so healthy.
competition. There's no
I know it
competition.
sounds so healthy. It's
Yeah,
not
there's
real.
absolutely no competition. We just care about what's good for the song. There's a little competition amongst the songwriters, of course. It's like when the songwriters love their songs, but it's just very, very, very light.
Yeah.
Very lightly, the songwriter would like to have his songs or whatever.
Right.
But it's nothing, no big deal. I mean, everybody can live it. And between the singers, it's all about what works, and not so much what everybody can sing. All the three voices can sing every song, and it would sound cool. Okay, it's not that there's anything that
Right.
the singers couldn't sing, but you're looking for to figure out who shines the most. You know, who
Hmm.
can shine the most on this song or on this song. That's how I would describe it. The
It
motivation.
definitely honors the song. Is what I always feel like. If you have to
Yeah,
respect
yeah.
the song, you can't overdo it or underdo it either. But are you bringing in stuff yourself? Are you writing and then bringing in stuff too, or are you just
I
like what's the
haven't. No,
process?
again, I didn't even sit down for writing. We have so many songwriters. I mean, without me, it's already five people writing songs. Yeah, there's no need for it.
I'm surprised you guys are doing double albums with like so many singers and so many
Yeah,
songs.
it's already written. I mean, the next record is already there. That's what because so many songs were there.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
It has a lot too.
it's a good. We're just at a good place. I would say creatively. And we still write our songs ourselves. We don't have AI writing our songs, so.
Ugh. I don't think rock and metal and hard rock will do that. I don't think. I think it's one of the saving graces. It won't go. No, don't take it. The fans
Some
won't take it.
some idiots will do it. Some idiots will do it, but not the good ones, not the great ones. They will not do it, of course.
Well, they're not going to be able to tour, not going to be able to play live. You'll know who they are. You know.
Yeah, but just the idea of having the computer writing your song, I mean, what's the point? What's
It's
the? I mean, it cannot be a musician, right? It can
no,
only be
it's not.
someone who uses music to get somewhere. So the music is an instrument for whatever success and money. But a real musician wouldn't even find the idea interesting.
To me, AI should only be for like if you're writing scripts or something. Computer like is just stupid waste of time jargon. Let it do that. You know,
AI is
or
great for anything
research
where
or research, but it's not a
AI
tool
is
to
great
use.
for many things, especially like when you create illusions anyway, like movies, like when you have a science fiction movie. I mean, of course,
Right.
AI can go wild there. It's great, it's an illusion anyway. But it's horrible everywhere where it replaces the human in terms of its productivity, creativity, and individuality. Because if people don't use their minds, don't use their hearts anymore to express, they're gonna go down. They're gonna get dumber and dumber and weaker. If you don't, it's like when you don't use your muscles. You know what I mean? You
Oh
get
yeah.
you just get weaker and weaker. And the same way, if you let AI think for you and do every creativity for you, you will lose it. You are alive by being productive. When you ignite these creative energies, that's where your soul and your I am becomes alive. And when you give that up to the computers, good night. But that's a choice. Nobody has to do it. It's everybody can make the choice if they want to enslave themselves to it or use it as a tool where it is a help.
Mhm.
But don't let it take away your soul.
No, I agree. I think we're the last generation like this that can see both sides of it. That are
Yeah.
well enough aware. I think it's the
Yeah.
next generations are going to see like that's just who they
Oh,
are.
there will be a lot of degenerating going down. You will have generations of numbnuts because
They're
all their productivity will be dead. But there will also be like zombies. If you're not productive, you're not creative. What are you?
yeah,
You just a phantom. So like
yeah, true. What are you existing for? To impress other people that don't care. you
Yeah.
know. But so with you though, also, but you are also a talented writer on your own though.
Yeah, I had some good moments, but I haven't been doing. I mean, I started
You had a
right.
lot of good moments. If you're being very
I
downplaying.
started some working on a solo record during the pandemic, but the energy got so negative everywhere that I kind of it kind of drowned, and I didn't pick up on it again so far. But I'm sure I'm gonna release. I mean, the contracts are all there, um, but I don't set myself under pressure. I do this acoustic. It'll be an acoustic record with a whole bunch of songs of myself and covers, but it has nothing to do with metal. And I don't do it other than for fun. So I don't even set myself under time pressure or anything like that. It'll be done when it's done. That's the only creative thing that I've done. I haven't done anything. Didn't even sit down and try to write something for Halloween because I just know they do it anyway, and they do it very well.
Well, some people just have to write though, also, like it's in you and you're like, I just gotta write it out and put it in a
Yeah,
pile. I know
yeah,
if you're one of those people, or if you're like, because some people artists can't write an album and it takes them forever. And there's some
yeah.
people that just can't stop writing, even if they don't put an album out. And there's some people, I think it feels like you're kind of in the middle. You're like, I can be creative when I need to be. I can also turn off the faucet, which is a rare gift because a lot of musicians are like all the way one or all the way the other.
Yeah, I just said that this morning. I had a conversation with our manager. It's like most bands have difficulties to finish an album, to
Hmm.
have enough good songs. And we don't have that problem. And it's like they don't do anything. They're lazy until they have to work. And
Yeah.
then they sit down for a couple of weeks and then you have all these songs there, which is amazing. They can, I mean, it takes a little while. It takes maybe like 2, 3 months until things are coming, but that's normal. Yeah, but it's impressive. It's impressive. I was kind of proud of them, to be honest with you, of all the material that showed up
Yeah.
and how good it was. I mean, like I said, we uh, literally wrote 2 records. I mean, we don't have to do any. We could just record another one tomorrow.
That's incredible that I have that much good material.
Yeah,
It's so how are we going to do? Because we got an anniversary coming up for 40 years,
yeah.
plus 3 singers, plus you want to mix it up and give everybody the proper rest and vocal and shine. Running a tour list challenging to hit all the checks,
Always, especially
all
when
the check
you
boxes.
especially when you have been taking 2 years off, it's always quite exciting when you get back into the touring mode. And I mean, it's gonna be a pretty big production and needs a lot of preparation that obviously we don't have to do. We have our management to do that, but they're putting a lot of work in it to make it interesting and different. I've been told the set list, which is quite exciting. It's very, very cool. Some stuff that we haven't played forever. Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at the video stuff that he had sent me, where the basic ideas of how things are supposed to go down visually. I didn't look at it. I just saw like in April, I saw a 3D computer graphics of how they would like to make the stage
Yeah.
set. But I'm sure it has evolved so far.
Is it me or does it seem like you guys are actually bigger now than you ever were? Like considering
Oh yeah,
it feels like it.
no comparison. It's just it doesn't look like it because you don't have the music culture over here in Europe anymore the way it used to be. This kind of central music culture. It's like when it used to be in the 80s and in the 90s, and it
Mhm.
used to be when a band was successful in a particular in one country. They would be on MTV Europe or any of those European wide music channels, and everybody would see them, and then you would know. Or when they would tour, it would be covered, and you would know something's happening. And nowadays, you have all these separate music scenes. One doesn't know what the other does, and certain bands can be really big, and you don't even know about them,
Right.
never heard of them. So it's like, and record sales don't play such a role, and they don't play a role at all anymore. I mean, in the metal scene a little bit, but still nothing compared to how it used to be. But as a matter of fact, we can play places now that we were never able to play in the 80s. So it's going better than ever. This is definitely a fact.
How long is the show gonna be? A couple hours, like 2 hours, probably, hour and a half.
Yeah, a little more than
Yeah.
2 hours. Yeah.
I mean, because you can, because you guys all get and rest
Well,
your
we
voices.
played 3.5 hours in 2017, and that was just a bit too much. But we were just playing. We had no records, so we had no new stuff. So
Yeah.
we only played the old hits and stuff, and it was great. But it was a bit too long. So it's like we don't have these we compensated by not having these extra video screens, video stuff that we were playing
Hmm.
in between songs. Sometimes we had
Yep.
this pumpkin story going down. We didn't do that after that. It's running in the background, so you can play more, and you don't
Okay.
have that time filled with the video stuff. That's why we can do it a little shorter now and playing still pretty much the same amount.
With these songs, though, and with you guys singing them and having different singers now, like you doing songs you weren't on, be able to join in now, has it opened up some extra ideas to go, you know what? This song was done with this singer, but man,
Yeah.
I also heard this part here.
Oh yeah.
So you guys
Yeah.
are able to
Yeah,
come in and be like, hey, this is a new part we're going to add now, or your voice
yeah.
would be good doubling mine. You know what I'm saying? And that's been
Exactly.
a fun part to
This is exactly
approach the
what
old
I was
stuff.
talking about with my manager this morning. This is what we were talking about.
I had
Because
the room bugged. No.
you can do that. You can do that now. You can have someone else sing the song, even though the original singer is there. You have someone else sing it.
Right.
You can do anything, and just have for keeping it fresh and exciting. Or I can join into a number of Andy, or vice versa. Oh yeah, yeah. Things like that are going to happen. That's for sure. It's fun. You can be good for a lot of surprise. The fact that we have three voices.
That's amazing, though. I mean, that's a good songwriting point too, to take advantage of all those voices.
Actually, it really is. You can see that in the creative process when they write songs, how excited they are about the fact that they can use that color or that color. In terms, like for a songwriter, it's
Yep.
interesting to have like three choices, if you like, for who sings what part. And
I think it'd be almost hard too, in some levels, because it's like having a guitar or a tone. You can just get lost in the studio thinking about different things you could do.
I think it was hard on the first record, because on the first record it was more or less that every guitar player needed to be playing a solo on every song, and then you have the harmony parts, and you want to have the duets as many as possible. So it's like
Yeah.
there was way too much that we were trying to compress into this first record, and we didn't do that this time. This time we just left it open, and whatever, however it goes, it was. Of course, you try to have a balance in terms of the songs you're choosing, and but it's not these the first record had was too much information, if you ask me. It was just too much on there, and I think this one
Really?
is more easy. You can listen to it easier because it's not too much squeezed in one song. It's just down to the basics, to what's necessary.
Okay, I can hear that. Yeah, if I've heard it, I've listened to it. It's a good album. It's very uplifting, actually. It's a good time to have an uplifting album. Some positive, and I think the fact all three singers are together, the band gets along, and everyone's trading kind of shows the unity that you guys are
Yeah,
singing about. It's
yeah,
like, yeah, this is not done. This is not usually done with three singers being friends and doing this together. We also believe it
yeah,
can
yeah,
be
yeah,
done,
yeah.
not just in
Absolutely.
songs, but in life. To,
Yeah,
to do that.
it's a good message overall. The whole Pumpkin United thing. I never would have thought that we would do something like that a number of years ago. But that's how life is sometimes, full of surprises. You just
When
never
it
know.
came when it came to you, was it like, all right, I'll give it a shot type of deal, or you're like, I don't know.
I was the one who gave the green light, because I was rejecting it for a long time. I was not interested at all. And I don't know, you probably didn't hear the story. And of course, I told it around the first release of the album a lot. Uh, um, I was like really not wanting to hear anything about it. I was really anti for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
until I ran into Michael Wycath backstage. I think in France on a festival,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just very sweet, and he was like he was literally he was saying, "What have I done that you can't forgive me?" That was, and I was like, and I was reaching.
That's a good
into my
line,
soul.
just in
It's a
general.
great line. It's a great line. And I was like, I just noticed there was no anger anymore. It was gone. And I
Yeah.
said, you know what? I think I've forgiven you a long time ago. And that was for me the change inside that I realized
Okay.
something's different. Something is maybe just the years going by that you just grow out of it and have a different perspective at it. It was just no anger anymore. But that was like even then there was no discussion about doing a Pumpkin United or anything like that. And there was like I think 1.5 or 2 years later when I was doing Unisonic with Kai, where we did some nice shows in Spain. Like it
Hmm.
was like smaller places, like 2,000. It was great shows. It was good. It was good fun. The band was getting there, and there was after one of the shows, Kai just said, um, "Michael, one day we got to do something with Halloween again." And that's when I said, "You know what? I'm open." And that started it all because Costa, who was part of the management bottom row, who's also they manage Halloween, he was playing the drums and Eunice,
Oh,
and he heard it and he was passing it over. He even said, "You have any idea what is going to happen when I mention this in the office?" But that's how I was actually the one who
yeah.
gave the green light, that because I was refusing anything in that direction in the years before, because I didn't think I would want to, until I ran
So
into people.
I heard part of it before. Thank you for sharing that. But I also didn't know if it was 100% just that. So there really wasn't any, you had no like real music exception thoughts about like, I don't see how this would even happen. Like that was never a thought. You were more like personal stuff.
Yeah.
It was never any kind of like artistic
Oh,
artistic stuff.
musically, it was always very open. I mean, musically, I would never care. I mean, whatever the band would want to do, I'd be up for it. 'Cause my philosophy in terms of music, of course, I got my taste. I got things I like more than others, but in general, you got to do what you want to do. You have to follow your heart. That's
Right.
the thing. When you follow your heart with what you're doing, things are going to be good because that gives quality. Everything that comes from the heart. This is why I would always supported any weird idea that Waikiki had in Halloween, and I thought it was cool. And he had a lot of weird ideas, in the Keeper years and stuff.
You got some crazy album names too that I actually thought were pretty hilariously funny and great. They totally just, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah. We were always had this sense of humor kind of thing. We were not afraid, and we never felt like we needed to be evil or anything like that to be interesting. And it was just we just didn't have it in us. We're not just not the
yeah,
people for that dark kind of shit. Um, but where was I?
it's with,
Uh,
yeah,
no, it was not about music. It was. I mean,
okay.
after I was out of the band, they were trying to put it that way, but it was never about music. It was a personal kind of thing. I needed to be out. I needed some time for myself. It was good for me to do that.
Oh, I think that's the only reason why you're talking to today to me about this album with them because
Yeah.
you got out at the right time and you did and probably will you did some great stuff without them though, you know. And I know some artists feel sometimes like it's like, oh, if I go back now, it feels like this was just a side project, like you know what I mean, like you put all this effort into establishing a
My
whole.
solo stuff was just a side thing. My head was somewhere else. I was doing these things because the record company was asking for it, and of course, during a certain phase of the time, I was concentrating on it. But my head was somewhere else. I was like I was really out. I was not playing live. I didn't care. Very different to the early years with Halloween,
Yeah,
and very different to now. But it was good. It was. I don't want to miss it.
it's amazing because I mean your solo stuff was good. I enjoyed it too. So when you always start getting more and more of the duets and stuff, and I was like, wow, this is great. You know, so it's like I always feel like even if a band breaks up, that just means more music from all your artists. Is another, you know what I mean? More music
When
now
you
coming.
do something like that, when someone does solo records, like I did, without any, you're not in a band that has a particular sound, and I was never trying to copy that sound. I was just whatever came to mind, I was
Right.
doing. There's some charm about it because maybe that's what you like about it. It's there's
Probably,
something
yeah.
free. There's something free about records that are solo record. It's the same thing with Chris Cornell. I actually like some of his solo stuff better
Yeah.
than even some of the Soundgarden stuff because it's like kind of you can be more individual to a certain extent. You can be more free in what you're doing because you're not in a band. It's always a little bit democratic, of
Yep.
course. You have to. Everybody has to be for it and has to like it, which is great too. It has a different dynamic. It
Right.
has benefits too. But there's, like I said, there's a certain charm to anything that gets done without a guideline, without any trademark, without any logo, where you just do whatever you want to
Yep.
do. Yeah.
Well, and I think that was the pureness of it, and it came out good. They came out, we did, it came out good, but there's always a danger, and I think that's why sometimes it's the good and bad about being a band. The band will also help trim off some of the fat. That's just one person doing all their own stuff. They
Yeah.
like it, so someone can be like, that last part, maybe you shouldn't do that, or like, what I'm saying, like they can help you trim down a little bit, and then sometimes it's bad because everyone else is trimming off something that's your favorite part of the song too. So
Yeah, but that makes a good band. That the input from the others usually make the stuff you do better.
yeah.
That's the band. That's when you have a good band.
Well,
Otherwise,
that's
you
what this
leave
is.
the band.
It's a healthy band,
You know?
It's not a competition. I mean, there's so many of you guys. You got to play big places now. You need a big stage. It's not a small
Yeah,
band anymore.
that's
Like
true. Actually,
you're like an
I was
orchestra
talking
at
to
this
the
point.
same people on say we can't play clubs anymore. We have to play big. That's right.
Yeah, you just want people on stage and in the audience. You got to make sure you
A lot of
play
personal
a
on
big
stage,
place. That is
but we're
good.
not
So,
always on stage. It's not all of us all the time. We're
I know.
sometimes we're just one singer leaves and the other comes on stage, but sometimes it's all seven. Yeah, pretty much quite often actually.
When they did the set list, was it at any point, and for the album? I know it's not. Definitely not an ego thing, but is there some kind of trying to make sure the vocalists kind of get a split of a third or ish. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, the man,
Performing
we
and
didn't.
recording.
We not in recording, and recording is always about the song,
Okay.
whatever is good for the song. But when it comes to selecting the songs, we had like 20 songs or something, and that was something that we to a big part left to Jan, our manager, because he's more objective than we are. We are
Oh
too
yeah.
involved when you're doing the stuff. So we had him make suggestions about a good album and running order, and of course he make tries to make sure that there's a balance between how much I sing and Andy sing. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
but not when you write the songs. They just have to be whatever is best for the song.
Well, I mean, it's crazy because it's probably better he does that because everybody can be mad at him if he makes a decision they don't like than have you guys mad at each other. It's like being a parent. You know what I mean? Each day is gonna be different for everybody. No, it's not always the same. Life isn't always the exact
And
fair
we are
each
very
time.
different. We are very different in individuals. I mean, we're not alike. We're very different. Everybody is completely different than the other ones. So it's like if I would have to decide, things would sound completely different. If
Right.
Kai would be the one who says what we're doing, it would sound completely different. And it's the same with anyone else in the band. But we do it all together, and we try to get some common ground for everybody. That's how the song. But I'm sure it would be like you would probably have seven completely different records,
That'd be fun to see one day, like how it would go.
even with the same songs. Just that
Yeah.
one person saying what is happening. How to do it. It would be seven completely different records.
I like that. That's very funny, actually. So what's
Nobody
it like
ever
that?
did that, right? We have to release like a seven record, one record recorded seven times just out
Yeah.
of the ego.
Keeper of the seven songs
Keeper of the seven
seven
egos.
of the seven egos. There you go. Of the seven singers. It says a lot, I think, and it allows a lot of creativity. And I think the manager doing it is good because once again, you need somebody who's not in the mix, who doesn't have a horse in the race.
Yeah. And
His
Jan
goal
is
is to see everybody succeed.
we
Period.
trust him also. I mean, Jan is a good man. I mean, he managed the whole thing, which is not an easy thing to do. Like I said, we are very different, and it's not easy to get it all working. We're all trying, but it's like when you are very different, it's sometimes difficult to understand the other one. And vice versa. Why? And so you need someone who says, let's try this now, or so you
Right.
get somewhere. And he does that. He does that perfectly. I mean, I think without Jan, the band would not exist. It always needs a good manager to. And we are like really crazy. I mean, crazy in a way, like chaos. The band really is chaos, and it needs someone to organize it and to bring some structure. Otherwise, nothing would happen. They, they would be creative at home, but you wouldn't get a record together without someone organizing everything.
Right. Are you guys ever, is it only you guys come together for the albums and tours at this point? Plus, I mean, you're adults and you have families too. Or are you guys kind of overlapping in other things in life? Because you guys are so different, though, also. It's not like you're not friends or anything. It's just having so many people being so different.
The thing is, we're living pretty far apart.
Okay.
You have Waiki and Andy living in Tenerife. I am in Germany. Marcus is in Hamburg. I'm not living in Hamburg anymore. Sasha is in Berlin.
Mhm. Okay.
Kai is in Bulgaria. He has a house. So it's like
Wow.
we're not very nearby. And even Andy and Waiki, they don't hang out all the time. It happens, that they go and eat, or he gets invited into something that Andy does. Of course, they see
Right.
each other, but it's when you are living so far apart, it's kind of difficult. I mean, when we are rehearsing in Karlsruhe, I quite often also privately hang with Andy. We go
Yeah.
eating or drink a coffee and have a talk and stuff. So we like to hang. We like each other, but it's we usually actually see each other when we work for something because we're so far apart. And it's also good to do it that way because when you are touring, you're together all the time, and these when you have longer off times where you don't see each other, it's good. You're looking forward meeting the guys again, and I'm looking forward to rehearsing in Karlsruhe. I'm really looking forward to it because it's always
That's
fun. That's good, and this is also because we haven't seen each other for such a long time. When we saw each other, just I mean, for the record release, and for the
right.
video shoots and stuff. But we have been taking 2 years off. We played the last show November 23.
Wow.
Yeah,
Been a while.
yeah,
You get nervous at this point in your career?
yeah. After such a long time, you do because you're really out. You're really out of it. It's just, I mean, I'm living a completely normal life. I'm just having my daily routine, fooling around with guitars, things like that, meeting friends and all that. And of course but it's also fun to be a little nervous about a tour. And it's especially after longer breaks, you have to get back into it. You have to kind of get used to it. I'm pretty sure the first 2 or 3 shows will be kind of chaotic too. You just have to get back into the routine somehow.
Are you working your voice when you're not doing it though? Some people, now I say this because some people are like, I'm always just singing. So that's how they do it. Or some people yell into a thing. Some people take a break. Some people still work it because it is a muscle all
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah, I shouldn't be taking too longer phases off. I have been singing this whole year. I mean, I had to prepare for the recording, and I got to Tenerife for the vocal recordings for 2.5 months because
Yeah.
I took all the time I wanted. I mean, it's great to be in Tenerife. Is wonderful. It's like Hawaii. So I didn't have to hurry up, and I was just maybe every second day I was getting in the evening into the studio to do some vocals, and the day I just enjoyed. And it was meant to be like that. I mean, Jan, our manager, said, "Well, first time I want you to make some holidays there, and in between you can do some vocals," which was a good way of putting it because
He's a smart guy. He knows you, huh?
it was no pressure at all. It was just great fun. And so I was singing there, and of course, I was trained. My voice was trained, but I didn't completely stop singing when I got back.
Okay.
And I think it is important to you can get yourself singing by buying some shit, buying a new compressor or buying a new microphone. You have to test
Right.
it out. But I agree with you. It is especially when you do my type of vocals. You know, it has a lot to do with training. And it's like when I had phases where I was like for like 2 or 3 years, like in the pandemic, when you don't sing at all and you start again, you realize how bad you've become in terms of pitching and all that, because you lose the control, and it always takes a little while, a couple of building up the voice, a couple of days, and sometimes even 2 or 3 weeks until you get back to the control. You can. It's like a very well trained vocalist. It doesn't matter the genre, is usually very very good with the pitch. You just spot on because you have the control, and you lose that when you're not working. You lose that control, and it takes a little while to get it back. And I was surprised how precise I became in the recording phase, because you have this micro ears. You listen to this, you sing the song, you listen to it, and you get more precise. And how good I was singing after a while, just because of the practicing, singing like almost every day. And that's what it is. The really great singers. I just discovered a girl singer from the Netherlands that I think is just the best freaking vocalist I've ever heard. Davina Michelle. I'm always talking about her. Almost nobody knew her, knows her. I mean, Pink recognized her and was mentioning her, that she sounded better than herself on the cover that she did. Um, um, and that's when Davina became quite big in the Netherlands and stuff. But she's, to me, a perfect example of loving to sing. She's like, she loves to sing, and she never got any lessons. I was surprised myself, but she can do all the Whitney Houston. She can do all the Jessie J, Beyonce. I mean, her version of Halo. Check it out, Davina Michelle,
I'm
Halo.
going to check it out after this. If you talk to, I'm going to check it out.
I like it better than Beyonce's version, because Davina has something. She's not a diva. She's
Personality.
yeah, she has personality. She's very European. I just love her vibe, but she's so good. Her control, and she's like that live. She can do an interview with you and sing, and it's perfect, because her voice does exactly what she wants, because she was singing so much. And that's a perfect example. When you work, when you sing, and you do things right, you can be really in control of your voice, and that's part of the power. It's part of the strength. When you it sounds great when you can sing high keys without any effort. You know what I mean? When you just it's just there.
Just
That that
natural.
that has power. That has strength. And she's got it.
Well, as you get older, though, it's harder. I know, like a lot of your male peers aren't. They're like, I wish I didn't write the song in this key, type of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you all
especially
you.
someone like Jeff Tate, from
Oh yeah.
Queensryche, when you like the warning, like the first LP that they did. I mean,
Oh
what
yeah.
was he? And he delivered in a way that was like revolutionary in those days. It was like,
Yeah.
wow, what's that? But you have to live up to that shit your entire life. You know what I mean?
Which is impossible on some levels for most people to keep
It's
that on.
impossible. I mean, the thing with Geoff Tate, and I love him, especially like on the Warning. I
Hmm.
was amazing. You know what I loved about it too? It was the vibe. He sounded like singing is the greatest thing in the world. Listen, now look, listen what I can do. He's like a knight full of power and just letting it all out. It sounded like so much joy when he was singing. You know what I mean? The whole record
Hmm.
is just joy of that type of music and that type of singing. And it was jumping over to me. He was like a big motivation for me, but it was the energy. I mean, he not just the perfection in his technique and what Queensryche in those days put on the table. It was refreshing. It was very new. Metal sounded suddenly sophisticated. It reached some new elements of intelligence in a way, with Queensryche. In my opinion, it was more rock and roll before that, and with Queensryche, it sounded. I don't know. It was quite revolutionary, but it was the vibe. It was the spirit that he had, and that's the most difficult thing to keep up.
It
That
something.
youth,
Yeah.
excitement. He was young, he was excited, and he was just wanting to show the world what he can do. That's difficult to maintain over your life.
Well, yeah, they hit those notes, but I mean, they did have their own sound. I think they're very comfortable in their new vibe and very proud of it. That's what it felt like to me. Like it was a badge of honor because they're like, this is
Yeah.
kind of us. No one else is like us. Listen to me.
Yeah.
You know.
And then they
But
stopped writing songs. Whoever knows why.
everyone knows why.
Yeah.
They've had so many different dynamics. It was again, it was an early band, you know. But like I said, the fact you guys can still sing and with three singers, it's going to allow you guys to easily do this way longer than if you were just
Oh yeah.
beating up your voice. I mean,
Yeah.
this really just adds time on to the
Oh
band
yeah,
playing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, especially when you get older, you learn to appreciate that. I mean, if I would have to do a whole set, I would be able to do it, but I would have to prepare a lot more. I would have to get myself to the maximum in terms of
Yep.
physicality. Um, so having these two other guys there, and especially Andy, who sings just equally as much as I do, it takes half of the weight off your shoulders, you know?
Well, even if you get sick on tour, if the
Yeah.
singer gets sick, you have to cancel it. You have two other
Exactly.
singers.
Exactly. I said the same thing in the previous interviews. Like you don't necessarily have to cancel the show if someone gets sick. You can just move things over, more songs to the other person, or you swap some songs,
Yeah.
and you might still be able to have a good show.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, to me, that's a management touring thing. It's
Yeah.
financially, it's a better investment,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Yeah.
it is an investment. And I mean,
I
to me,
mean,
to have,
they had to do one concert in 23 without me because I had something with my ears,
Mhm,
an infection and stuff, and I couldn't hear noise,
mhm.
and they didn't like it. They didn't like it. It was like they were not happy. They called me up after the gig and said, "Ah, we're missing you." Blah blah blah. It's a good experience.
Make you feel good though, huh? At least you
It
felt wanted.
helps. It helps us to evaluate each other, but they
Yep.
didn't like it at all. Andy didn't want to do it at first, but it would have been such a loss for the promoter.
Right.
The promoter was begging the band to do the gig, and I said, "Come on, do it." So they did it. I did a video that they played on the big screen. You know, I can't do this, but they didn't like it. They didn't like it. So it's like the other person. Everybody needs to be there at least. You know, even if you're sick and
Yeah.
you sing that much, but you need to be there.
You guys are the sum of all your parts. That's kind of funny to hear that. What I always like to ask an artist, like, what else are you besides the music part? Do you have another skill that you do or a fun thing that's like also you? Like some people paint or cook that are like really good cooks. Like, what is your other like love?
Spirituality. I mean, I'm writing a lot. I write like essays. I mean, I don't write them all the time, but I have been writing a whole bunch of essays that I'm working over about culture but it's all spirituality but not religions, you know, more kind of free spirituality.
I get
I
that.
play the guitar. I love to play the guitar, but it's like I think the most important thing of my life is the spiritual journey, and everything else is just part of it, you know. Um, Music is important, but that's the most important thing, and I think that's what I'm dealing with. Also with other people, I communicate a lot. I have a lot of people that I'm talking with about these things and stuff like that. There's a lot of communication going down. That's like a major thing that I'm doing besides Halloween.
Well, it's just interesting because I think people think of the musicians, their favorite artists, as being beyond. Like they go, you put them in a shelf and you just hang them. That person as a guitarist on a hook. Like they come out, they're just a guitarist or they're just a singer. Like there's
Yeah,
so much
but
else
it's
to that
just something
person.
you do. It's just something you
I
do.
know, but I like to reflect with other people. Like there's so
Yeah,
much more to the artist. And
yeah,
generally, if they're an artist for one thing, they're probably really creative in other things that are
yeah.
fantastically interesting also. Like
Yeah,
it's
and
just not
usually
flat.
you don't know about it. Usually you know there's one public side, and a lot of people keep their private life completely hidden. It's like nobody
Right.
knows what they're doing. And sometimes you're surprised what they have been doing behind what everybody noticed. You know, uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But it's kind of fun to hear some other stuff though. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
I'm doing some
Yeah.
drawing too. I draw with the pencil. I think I can show you something.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I haven't finished it yet, but
Oh wow. That is
and I'm gonna take that off.
wow. That is fantastic. That is now
I
did you
do,
get
I
any
do
training
that.
in that?
I do that since I'm 13 years old.
Wow, you're really talented in that too. I mean, so have you had lessons? I mean, like singing and actually drawing and other things now and writing. Have you had any other formal lessons of anything? Or you've only kind of just done it in what you feel natural?
I'm self-taught. Everything I figured it out. Also with the singing, I remember when I did the first tour with Helloween. I think I just turned 19 or 18, and I got sick. I had like an infected vocal cord, and I had to take a break. And then they wanted me to see someone who trains opera singers,
Okay.
and he said he can't teach me. He said you're doing it right. So it's like you can figure things out yourself if you got some ear for it, you know. It's the same with Davina Michelle. She is perfect. She's like you would think she's a trained singer.
Right.
Has the sound and the resonance, and she does everything. It's just out there when she sings without any effort. She can go high, you wouldn't believe it, with like big sound, and it's nothing for her because she knows how to do it. She doesn't violate her voice, you know. She knows how to do it.
It's incredible. I mean, and I guess I can't get over the fact I want to let people know also. I mean, this album, it's from beginning to end. It's great. And I've been a fan since way back, with you. So I was happy to talk to you. But and I've loved the albums in between. Some I like depending on what mood I'm in, better on each days, like anything
Yeah,
else.
sure.
You have favorites. It's like your kids. You have some days you like them better than
Yeah,
others.
absolutely. Everybody has
But
that. I mean,
yeah, but
yeah,
overall though, I mean, Bumpkins has always kept to a good sound though. There has been a very honest integrity line that's run through it. You know, uh,
yeah.
everyone's been very honest. The music's always been honest and a love there, despite if there's any changes or mix-ups. There's always
It
been
was
that
always
true.
reflecting what we were in, the state that we were in. You always could, and this is why everybody loves Ozzy because he was always honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He
I,
was
I agree.
out there. He was sharing his demons, his problems, and that's why everybody loves Ozzy because he was just real. That's the thing. He wasn't putting on a show or anything. It was just him.
Which is kind of like what, yeah, I'm saying you guys. I think you guys, the band is always at least honored musically because it's been that same way. But that being said, this new album is fantastic. Like really, it's just
Yeah,
from the beginning
I'm
to the
pretty
end.
happy with it too, and the feedback is also amazing. I mean, we always like it, otherwise we would not release it. Okay, if we wouldn't be happy, we would continue working on it until we're happy. So we
Right.
like it anyway. We're satisfied, but it's also great to have a feedback and hear that the outside world feels the same.
Well,
Uh,
it's fresh. It's not the same songs, and sometimes there's always that danger of retreading,
yeah,
and it still feels like there's some. It feels you can feel the energy, the
yeah.
happiness.
It's not like it is with many bands, especially when they have as much time in like when they're around for such a long time as we are. Very often
Right.
they get kind of irrelevant artistically, musically. They don't really have anything to say anymore. So they just bore you to death with re-recording the same crap that you've heard 20 years ago, even better, much better
Yeah.
than now. You know what I mean? And that's kind of sad. But I have the feeling that we still have something to say, and that is great. And I'm happy when people say that because it just it's an insurance that because I feel that way anyway. But if I would feel that way and others wouldn't, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. You guys are definitely not in that long in the tooth phase. Basically, as a band, you guys are still very fresh,
And
very
I
relevant.
think if we would develop problems um, writing records, writing songs that we find exciting, I don't think we would do them.
I think I agree with you.
I think we would just continue playing live and maybe release a single if we have a good
Mhm.
song. You know what I mean? I don't think that we would release weak records if we don't like them. I was just
Float.
mentioning this if we don't have ideas anymore. Instead of making a
Right.
lame record with six crappy songs and
No,
three
I
good songs,
understand.
we just release three good songs.
I get that. I think what I just makes sense. Thing is like some artists will just do a new single every other year just to be
Yeah.
relevant because it's all that gets
Which is
heard.
also understandable. It's
I
understandable
get
with
it.
how things have changed.
I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying personally, as a music fan, I
Yeah.
love to see a band have the energy to put out a complete thing. So,
Yeah.
people, check out the album. You got a tour this year coming up, and then probably the next year, probably touring forever because there's so many of you guys.
Oh yeah, it's going to be some
You know,
touring, and I guess the next 3 years or something. Not continuously, of
I
course,
know,
but
but that's awesome. Michael,
yeah,
I want to thank you for being on the show. This has totally been a big
yeah, it
thing
was
for
a
me.
good
Thank you.
interview.
Thank you. I will.
Have a good
Oh,
one.
okay. Bye bye. Bye.